Hello and welcome to the Week 3 edition of the EstablishTheRun.com NFL betting show. My name is Adam Levitan, as always, joined by Evan Silva, and today we are back again to have some more good old-fashioned fun. As you guys know, we are not sports bettors. We have been all in on fantasy for the last 15 years or so. That is what we do. That is what we play. That said, betting sides and totals is undoubtedly fun, and there has just been an overwhelming amount of requests from the fans for this, and of course, we aim to please. I do want to be very clear that if I'm betting any of this stuff, and a lot of times I don't, but if I'm even betting any of this stuff, it's honestly just for fun and to throw the books off the scent as we absolutely ravage them in props. In other words, maybe our accounts don't get shut down, our accounts don't get flagged if we give them some sides and totals action, which honestly is close to 50-50 anyways. It's all in good fun. Evan, how's it going ahead of this week 3?
How's it going? I'm looking forward to week 3. A full week after coming back from the wedding. People do not schedule your weddings during football season. I'm excited for week 3. Let's go.
Before we get into the show, a couple of things. First, if you're into betting, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you should, or hopefully are, into props. That is a market we know we can beat. We've been doing it for years and are putting a huge emphasis on it this year. If you want to do it right, you need to be in our subscriber-only Discord. As soon as I take a prop, we send an alert in there. We're up to 18-6 on the season, really grinding hard, trying to get to openers. Second, this program is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks.com. I want to stress that if you're in a state like New York or California or Texas, you don't have access to a legal book where we're betting those props. But you can still play the prop market on PrizePicks.com. It is legal and regulated. If you sign up using promo code ETR, they'll give you a 100% bonus up to $100 immediately. No playthrough or anything like that. We also have a PrizePicks channel in our Discord and a table up for subscribers that shows our projections versus PrizePicks lines. Again, promo code ETR at PrizePicks.com. Link is in the description below. All right, Evan, let's get into it here with week 3. We are again going to do a 3-round draft of plays. I believe we pushed last week. I had a chance to win if that Seattle-Tennessee game didn't go to overtime. I had the under there. Evan could have won if the Chiefs didn't bungle the fourth quarter in that Monday night football
I was
game.
listening to that on the radio.
Yeah, they blew
driving back from St. Louis. And I mean, I was like, we got this, like pretty much the entire second half. Get back home, come inside. There's Daigle, sitting there, and like the Chiefs, they're blowing it. I blame it on Daigle. Yes. But it was a rough one. I mean, I really thought we had it.
He is never blame yourself. I blame my losses in DFS last weekend on Drew Silva, and Evan is blaming now on Daigle. That's really the key. All right, Evan, I'll give you the honors once again. Go ahead with your first pick. And by the way, I am going to pull up the odds screen because I really want to emphasize that people need to line shop. So like where Evan's just looking at DraftKings Sportsbook, but you really, 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 really need to line shop. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up now. But go ahead, Evan, with your first pick.
Well, I'm going to start off with a game to look at on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. I'm going to start off with just it's a player prop, and it's Michael Carter over 7.5 receiving yards. But if you go through and look at the player props on DK right now for Broncos Jets, there are a lot of opportunities here because this game sets up really well for the Broncos to pile up a ton of rushing attempts. Their home opener, the Jets are an absolute mess, like even worse than we could have imagined entering the season. Back in the preseason, everything was looking okay. Now they lose Mekhi Becton. They can't protect Zach Wilson. He's trying to play through a groin injury. So there's comeback game script on the Jet side with a lot of opportunities for dump-offs to guys like Ty Johnson and Michael Carter. And then on the Broncos side, lots of opportunities for rushing attempts for Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So this is really more than just one prop. But I mean, that's going to be the one that I focus on. But because I think it's probably the best bet right now. But there are a lot of opportunities to hit props in this game right now. And I don't know, they might go fast, but we'll see.
Yep. And this just popped as I was coming on here. If you're a subscriber, we'll be looking over these props and getting them out as soon as we can, as soon as I have a chance to bet. I, of course, am going to stick to size and totals, what the people want for the good fun. First bet, Evan, if you read Pat Thorman's snaps and pace, he thinks Green Bay, San Francisco could be a really ugly slog. And I don't know about if it's going to be an ugly slog, but I think that there's at least some chance that it plays way slower than people think. I mean, there's signs that the 49ers want to play slow, and the Packers, surprisingly this year, want to play slow. We saw the 49ers just play a really low-scoring game against the Eagles. I think both offenses are going to have a little bit lower floors than people think, and two quarterbacks in Jimmy G and Aaron Rodgers who aren't throwing pick sixes and creating these wild game scripts. So I'm going to go under 50.5 here. You can see if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a lot of 50s out there. There's a 49.5 out there. Shop for the 50.5. Looks like there's 50.5s on FanDuel and on DraftKings. I cannot emphasize this enough. The difference between 49.5 and 50.5 is absolutely massive if you're trying to do this seriously. So under 50.5 on Packers 49ers for my first play. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, on DK, that came out. They started at 48.5. I took the over on 48.5. Now it's up to 50.5. So I'm feeling good about my bet. But I hear you. I read Thorman's article too, and some concerns there. I'm going to go with an over because I don't bet unders. Giants, Falcons, 47.5. I think that this is like a sneaky bad team shootout game. Neither team can rush the passer. Neither team is covering at all. I thought the Giants might have a decent coverage, pass coverage unit coming into the season. Not so far whatsoever. These defenses are just not playing well. The Falcons have allowed the most points in the NFL through 2 games, and the Giants under Patrick Graham have been a really big disappointment. I went back and looked at last year. Their final metrics weren't that great. I think they were number 19 in defensive DVOA, and they look a lot worse last year. And I think that they were overachieving as a unit last year. Daniel Jones has been playing better than people expected, certainly better than I expected. They're running him a lot, which I think helps get him going in the game. And I think that this could be a potential breakout week for Saquon Barkley, busting some long runs against the Falcons. Because we talked about this on the Tuesday show. He has looked healthy. They got him back to playing with 84% of the snaps in week 2. He's got the 10 days removed from his last game on Thursday night. My concerns would come from, potentially the Falcons holding up their end of the bargain. I think that this is a really good spot for the Giants. And Jason Garrett especially needs to get Kenny Golladay going, and I think that he will, and they'll be able to throw the football down the field to Kenny Golladay in this game as the sort of squeaky wheel. So all we need is 48 here. 28-20 would be fantastic. I'd love it. But yeah, over on 47.5 Falcons Giants.
I'll go ahead and give you the 47. If you guys have the video up, you can see there are some 47s out there. BetMGM has a 47 up right now. So I'll go ahead and give you the 47 because I am a generous guy, of course. My second pick, I think, is one that I just want to be early on Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields can really play, man. And I think the way he plays is the way that you need to play in today's NFL as a 7-point dog going to Cleveland, who won't have Jarvis Landry, might not have Odell Beckham either. We'll see on that. We can grab the 7 here. Obviously, 7 is a very, very, very key number. I would not take this at 6.5. 7 minus 110s are available, though. And I just want to be early on Justin Fields, man. If Justin Fields comes out and blows the doors off, you're never going to get a line like this again. And we could say the same thing about DFS, just trying to be early. Once you see it in DFS, it's going to be too late because Justin Fields is going to be massively owned. And so I'm optimistic on Justin Fields here going to Cleveland as a 7-point dog. I will take that. Evan, your final play.
All right. I kind of struggled to find number 3 here, but we're going to go with another over. Mm-hmm. Jaguars, Cardinals. Mm-hmm. So, the way that Trevor Lawrence has played, and there's just been a lot of negative data that has come out, extremely small sample. He's got the worst, the highest off-target throw rate, and he's had the most bad throws, and all these sort of subjective and very small sample statistics that have come out. The fact of the matter is the guy is staring downfield and looking for big play opportunities. And when you play like that and you're not taking checkdowns, you're going to be a high variance player. And so far, the variance has been, on the negative side for Trevor Lawrence. But that's, looking downfield into the Cardinals secondary is something that, I think we should be a proponent of. And I think that he could have his first truly good game here against Arizona, taking shots downfield and testing that terrible secondary that just really hasn't been tested so far. Did start to get tested last week by the Vikings. But still, that was, a game where Dalvin Cook just ran it down their throats. And still the secondary is very vulnerable. And I think that Trevor Lawrence does have the skill set to take it apart. I also think, the Cardinals play a lot of man coverage that could create running opportunities for Trevor Lawrence as well. And then the Cardinals offense is just an absolute juggernaut. And the Jaguars defense is horrible. So, I mean, the Cardinals could almost get there themselves. I mean, they're a candidate to put up 40 in this game. This is another game that appeared in Pat Thorman's Pace article, 51.5. I think it's a lot of points, but I think it's very, very doable here, especially if we get 23 out of the Jags. I think we're going to get there.
51.5 minus 110 is indeed the best line there. I have a sneaky feeling the Jaguars are going to show up in this game. I don't know. I know the Sharps are on Jaguars as a 7.5 point dog for sure. I'm not going to take that as my last play. I do think it's worth noting, though, for my last play, I am going to go with the New England Patriots minus 2.5. And I know it's 3 in a lot of spots. Let me just go down here and grab where it's 2.5 at. Yeah, you can still get 2.5. What is that? That is on MGM 2.5, and there's some 2.5s elsewhere as well. Bet Rivers is also at 2.5. So the same issue I had with the Patriots last year. When you have zero talent on offense, it is really hard to stay in NFL football games. And I know that the Patriots last year found a way to win some games with Cam Newton sneaking around and stuff like that. It's really hard when your starting wide receivers are like Marquez Callaway and Deontay Harris, and Adam Troutman is your number one tight end to generate offense. And Jameis obviously has this really low floor too. I think Max played well. I get that he hasn't blown up for fantasy or anything like that. I think Mac has been fine. I think Mac will be fine in this game. And the way they're using Damian Harris and James White, the tight ends, I mean, they have some actual talent. Jacoby Myers, they have some actual players. Aguilar, they're fine. And so this game in Foxborough, to get it under 3 where they can win by a field goal in a likely really low scoring game, I'll go ahead and take the Patriots minus 2.5. All right. That's going to do it for this week 3 betting preview. On terms of props, you can go to the site. I've taken about 6 props already. Going to look at this Jets Denver stuff as soon as I get off here. And if I bet anything, I will put it in the Discord. And in the article, if you want to sweat tonight, I do have Brandon Cooks under 72.5 receiving yards with Davis Mills starting. I think Terrace Marshall over 28.5 receiving yards is okay. I haven't taken that yet, but I am considering. For Evan, for producer Adam, for Jerry, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.